roll call, please.
Kramer, absent. Biganowski. Biondo.
Yes.
West.
Here.
Merrick.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
And Radke.
Present, we have a full board. Next item, before we go on to the next item, if you have any smartphones or devices that make noise, if we could place them on silent or vibrate, that would be greatly appreciated. With that, could you stand and lead the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there any members of this board that wish to address the agenda as presented? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Merrick, supported by Kramer to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Next item is the approval of the consent agenda, which contains the minutes of June 12th, 2023, treasurer's report and bills. Is there any member of the public that would like to have any item removed from the consent agenda? Any member of staff? Any member of this board? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Merrick,
Second.
supported by West. Any discussion? Roll call this, please.
Merrick.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. West.
Yes.
And Radke.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. Next item is a new item. It was advised that we put it on there. That is the declaration of conflict of interest on any item on the agenda by any board member. Anybody have any declaration of conflict of interest to declare? Hearing none, that will be so noted. Next item are reports. Didn't I just see Deputy Nofke here? Okay. With that being said, I see Chief Case. We have your written report, department's written report. Is there anything you'd like to add? Nothing like last night, Jeff blowing a tire or? Very good. Any questions of our fire chief?
Did you break anything else?
I don't. Okay, I don't see any others other than our engineer of record. You will have opportunity to comment later under new business. Public comment. Here's an opportunity. If you have anything that you'd like to say, I'd ask you to rise, go to the podium, state your name and address of residence, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there any member of the public that would like to speak? Sir. Okay, very good. I'm going to take an opportunity here to welcome the distinguished County Commissioner of District 1, Commissioner McAllister. If you could go to the podium, sir, I'd greatly appreciate that. So would our fan base on YouTube. Well, all two of them will listen.
They're probably in the room.
That's, anybody have questions for our County Commissioner?
Can you arrest that kid in front of the Interlochen Arts Academy that jumps in front of cars with a stop sign? Okay,
Well, thank you, sir. And I believe you're gonna have some, additional information probably forthcoming next month on status of, the county happenings. That includes, other entities of Grand Traverse County. Yes, very good, sir. Thank you. That being said, we'll go back to public comment. Any member of the public? Seeing none, we'll move on to postponed business. Does anybody recall any postponed business, as there is none noted? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business, which is a road naming request for Hadley Lane. The explanation and details of the reasons why is included in our board packet. We do have a representative from the zoning department, which typically handles this. Alicia, welcome back. So at this point, any discussion on said?
tell us, but this isn't paved, is it?
No,
No, it's that dirt portion that meanders to the west southwesterly at the west end.
I see the picture. West End. It's
The
puzzled.
township, right? It's right at the township
Is that the
line.
formal connection between those two roads?
Oh, you mean this one that goes through state land?
Right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and that state land was acquired. Alicia?
That portion is not officially registered. Because when if I purchased the state land, by the individual.
I have a question on it. They're making it a lane. Give me the definition of the lane quick. Didn't take time.
It's not, doesn't mean anything.
I thought one of
used to
them
in
was
those
that
days.
if they dead ended or something. I didn't look it up.
Well, it used to be private.
Yeah, cause this'll be basically a private road. Except I know the county maintains.
Yeah, but they're gonna pull off track.
How did it get to be a county road? No,
Even though the official right, it's straight.
right, because it goes down a great big swale. They don't go straight and the other way. That used to be a 2-track and people just kept driving on it. And so then the county come in and started grading it. So I don't know if they actually own it because it's part of that state land there. Well, now it's private land, yeah. Yeah, all three.
the right road by use, if nothing else.
Eminent domain.
Okay, so with that being said,
I'll make a motion that we approve the request for Lawrence Roger to rename the road Hadley Lane. as
Support.
presented.
we have a motion by Kramer, supported by Merrick to name the road Hadley Lane. Any discussion?
Who's Hadley?
What's that?
Who's Hadley?
Maybe a wife or a daughter.
The dog.
Probably just one of the few names left that they could reserve at the county level. This. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, say no.
No.
Motion carries 6-1. Next item on our agenda is the Interlochen Public Library's Children's Programming Request. This is an annual request that is brought forward from the library to the township to see if the township would
Have it in the budget? I don't remember. Oh, it's-
You're looking for a motion to approve this?
Yeah, we do,
Make the
we
motion.
did put money in that budget center. Each year we say we're gonna talk about it, and each year we talk about it.
I'll support the motion.
We have a motion by Biondo, supported by Merrick to sponsor the children's programming for the Interlochen Public Library in the amount of $6,000 for this budget year. Any discussion? Dave?
Vote no on this every year because it's an illegal charitable gift that we're not allowed to give without a contract where we get something in exchange, a service or something like that. So we're doing it wrong again.
Any other discussion? Roll call it, please.
Biondo.
Yeah.
West,
Yes,
Biganowski.
Nope.
Merrick,
Yes.
McDonald.
Yeah.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Every year we do sign an agreement. It is for kids funding.
I've never seen it.
So,
Good to see it.
so with that, I'll vote yes. Motion carries 6-1. Next item on the agenda is going to be discussed by our engineer of record, Jennifer. Would you please come forward and explain the technical aspect of the engineering report, structural report, and your position, please? Oh, I will.
We were requested to take a look at the building to, replace the road over the county hall. And so this is basically step one of multiple steps, but, we worked through, we have, engineering staff in house, but typically for things of this magnitude, high level, we work with pricing engineering. They're located on 14th Street, so this is their through them, but basically, the process they went through is to look at what we had for available and record drawings. Okay, so that was, actually extremely beneficial, including foundation plans and trust plans. And there's varying phases and expansions to come all over the years. And so taking those into consideration, Craig's ended up taking boots on the ground, including that with Troy, and took opportunity to call up, take a look at the ceiling, the attic area, expose a couple areas of the foundation, and just to kind of quantify and get a good handle on the status of the building. And so from their overall visual inspections, reviewed record drawings, it was their opinion, that based on that available information, that that walls, and the attic that is available, it's of adequate, loading capacity to accommodate a fish truck and take down the memory. Now, there are, of course, as engineers, when we do this, qualifiers in there that it is subjected to a final load analysis. And I'll, elaborate on that in a minute, but that's what you basically have in the package. Based on the information available, it is their that accommodate a fish truck. And so on the section safety plan, see a concept rendering of what we propose. 412 pitch. And it could be so with that being said, I had some follow-up discussion with Tyson. I talked to a couple local contractors, get that in on pricing and what that would look like. And so for current markets, I have provided an email to the supervisor just kind of outlining what the prices would be to do the tear down and replace it with, process and changes. Realistically, we're about current price right now. I dropped this over, it's about $45 a square foot. And then with that, I factored in a 10% pricing to help the design, construction oversight and permitting. Now the design, what that will do is that'll encompass and allow us to be able to finalize and review and do that whole variant house that was mentioned that letter, just as final verification. Because realistically, until the house or anything renovating, don't know necessarily what you're getting into when you start scaling that home. They're getting in there, you start demo, exposing the rafters, memory, and all the insulation that we actually can verify, the final measures to certify that it's going to be able to accommodate the problem. So first measure and level of effort was to this feasibility study, which provides us about an 80%, 85% level of assurance to give you guys indicators and recommendations if this is something you can do and some confidence. Right now, for current market price, ultimately, this is a project that ends up being built next year. Hard to say, but right now, yeah, what we're recommending is the price. A viable option. So that's very exciting news for you guys. I know a lot of people in this.
Oh, just the foundation, our roof, as it stands now, will need to be replaced. We're 7 years beyond the life expectancy. We've had Springfield and Bloxham all to do inspections and looked at it. They were both impressed that it's lasted this long. I know Paul there for several years had to do an annual look and repair. And that's what's kept the roof alive this long, but they gotta repair the whole roof this time. There's too many cracks in it and et cetera. So one way or another, it's either $160,000 for the roof for what we have, or potential $330 and change for a pitched roof that would match the community center area.
With, again, that's an estimate in shingles versus steel versus having, there would be insulation, I imagine, at that $45 a square foot. Is that, did you kind of figure some insulation or not?
And we're seeing we're going with high-end shingles. Like, the warranty associated with them. So there's a municipality grade. So in comparison to steel, was used to put content. Honestly. So either way, that $45, that includes down all means.
Well, at this point, I know we've discussed it and we're not sure of what the status of what the admin offices we're gonna do there. Do a re-roof, do a tear down, rebuild. Or USDA, rural development loans, grants. But those all end up being costly and we're in a neighborhood of $2.5 million for a new build.
Can we talk a little bit?
Yes, that's what,
Anybody recall what, we did this a year, 2
2 years ago,
Anybody recall roughly what the cost?
$43,000. Give or take some change just for the flat roof.
Right.
With new board panels underneath. Yeah,
Yeah, because it was a comparable cost. Seemed like when we did the township, we did this one first and did that one for a couple of years.
mhm. So we're just looking for some direction. I don't know if we'll be able to get this accomplished this year if we did go after it. But if we did go out for bids, at least we'd know the number for next spring. And I would presume that it would go into the following budget year as well. So that might be another,
We can't just run a check for this. We don't have it. do we?
yeah, we have 515 capital. Building that.
That's the capital that we didn't put into the loan.
Yes, this is the one we held out for.
The township.
Yeah, we knew we needed a new roof.
This was the first step that do a site evaluation, verify, and accommodate fish roughly, with a high level of certainty, and you guys know, and, as, Mr. Randy and I had discussions, this is not a project that realistically the time of the contractors that, you're gonna just get plans together and see it underway this year. But it does provide you guys with a budget number for next year for plan, I would think to get a set of plans together. If you're fiscal year, how that lines up.
So would this be something we'd be ready to put out for bid in the near future, or are we looking 6 months before we even have plans ready?
Even
Okay,
contractors, at this point, based on their schedules, I've been quite flexible where I was almost giving them a whole year and they kind of take one works for them, like I give them 2 materials, have it done in June or have it done by October, so that we're getting 2 prices. Just with flexibility for them. But yeah, I think if this was part of the one to move forward, we have plans done in the next few months for going bidding, should be typically an opportune time.
I know when I was on the road commission, if we could get the bids in before everyone else, we can get better pricing. Is it still working that way in this world, or is it, okay?
Construction. He had a very similar project that we worked on the heritage renovation. And once you kind of establish a relationship with them, they make it work. Prices pretty much the same regardless.
So what are our next steps that we need to do here at the board level?
Well,
I said if we're gonna go forward with doing a flat roof or the angled roof or blow
or
the thing
tear
up,
down,
tear
we're gonna, if we put a new roof on it, from all indicators, it'll last, the building will last a lifetime. If we put a roof on, obviously it could last longer than that. We can sit there and put new paint, new building.
Is we gonna scrap that building, and level it, and start over with the 2 whatever million? If we've all, none of us, you guys are all chicken about doing another special assessment millage vote, which no one was really in favor of that, and the other one is bite the bullet, and put a roof on. So that's the threshold question.
Or put a flat roof. I mean, if-
Yeah, we can, sit there and go out and get bids, for replacement of what we have.
You wanna do any merit to us get together, doing a workshop on thinking this all through? I mean, because even if you put the picture up on it, you've still got no insulation block walls. I mean, there are some issues.
Yeah, and, that
Is the
could be
septic-
addressed.
So I see the way it got renovated, is the septic still?
New. Yeah, we just had it pumped, we do it like we've always done to ensure that it continues to work, but we have the septic system out back that we cost shared with, that we can connect into. And as far as the building insulation, whether we put, foam board on the outside, vinyl wrap it, or put it on the inside, or put it on the inside. And drywall that route and alter the offices. Those are opportunities. I mean, we can do the internal in-house.
I would certainly be in favor of, unless you guys have already come to a determination, then absolutely where you want to go, maybe kind of have everybody air it out, maybe work with whatever.
You said 160, what'd you say?
I think it was 160 last year.
That's double.
See what you guys are. But I mean, three options that are available, you might go to us. I have or remarks, kind of create a spreadsheet. Yes. Associated, has something, a document. Okay, rather than.
if we want to do that, if you would authorize myself and Jennifer to meet and do the spreadsheet on some of the viable options that we've heard here, and also utilize Jennifer's experience and see if she has any other options that she could portray on a worksheet. We'll take a look at that. Maybe we'll hold a special meeting before the next regular meeting, an hour earlier, to go over that and have action at the next regular meeting. That would still give us 3 months before the end of this year, and get some stuff together and put it out for bids. Options, we'll get a flat roof, cost to repair, to replace. Be safe. And a pitched roof, and address the lack of insulation in the walls. Those are some of the options that we can work with.
Right.
Yeah, or a building.
Because
Yeah.
kind of favor of doing a little feasibility overlook of it to say, what is it you all need? Office space, we're split right now, we can do with this, but
I'll make a motion.
The building.
I make a motion to authorize the supervisor to work with our engineer on record to put together some information for a special meeting for us. An hour before the next board meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by Kramer, to authorize the supervisor to work with the engineer to bring back a spreadsheet for options. Is that what you said?
Sure.
Trying to understand.
So we're ready to go forward with a special meeting to discuss the option.
Okay.
So if we do the,
Discussion.
thank you, if we do the pitched roof, what are we looking at for time frame? Next year is a horrible year to be doing it for me.
We'll
We've got
get
three
the
major-
estimated time of start and because of the elections.
Cause with 3 elections, I mean, you don't want to be dumping stuff on voters.
I got a question on Marv. You said if we go to the pitch roof, that we've got an extended life forever. Isn't a flat roof only like a 10-year thing?
You can go 20-year options on that as well. But if we do
The
a
flat
pitched,
one,
if we
yeah.
do a pitched roof,
It's gonna take care of our problem.
yeah, we
And
will,
it'll take care of the foundations and that.
we'll be able to take the runoff away from the foundation.
Exactly.
So that's something that
Big, big,
we'll look at.
Huh?
big.
Exactly.
Yes,
I like that.
because we're gonna need new furnace HVAC system as well. So last time we were down for a week and a half in the middle of winter because we couldn't get parts. Was it a week and a half or 2?
Luckily, there's enough furnaces. Sorry. I mean. Yeah.
But, so, if that's, everybody, the motion made by Merrick, supported by Kramer. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. An hour before next month meeting, we're gonna give them we'll have a meeting of the information that we supplied to them a week before that, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Next item on our agenda would be the intergovernmental agreement with TTIC. I'll give the microphone over to Andy, who is our representative to this new forming organization potential.
MPO. So because of the last census, we have reached a level necessary for additional funding from the state and federal government. In order to do that, you need to establish a metropolitan planning organization. Any of the agencies or units that are within that area that they use can be part of this organization. We've been looking at it, been part of the meetings, the bylaws which were included in the packet. And there's, of course, a cost involved in that. And it's $50,672.98 for the cost for the organization of the share that we have to pay, or that has to be paid by the members. Comes out to about $3,619.50 if all 14 agencies are able to participate.
How much was that?
$3,619.50 in the packet,
Yeah.
buried in one of the 900 pages that we got. There was some lively discussion at the meeting about the bylaws. There were different organizations, the City of Traverse City, Leelanau County Road Commission, and Grand Traverse County Road Commission wanted 4 votes each, compared to 1 vote for the rest of the organizations that were participating. We still had some voting power because it was 1 vote for 1 person or 1 organization at the meeting. Came out with 1 vote for each organization participating. Giving all the organizations as part of this, the same voice at the table. I think it's a pretty good arrangement compared to what we had before with TC Talus, because there is millions of dollars available in federal funding as a result of being an MPO now. Not sure all the organizations are going to participate. There was a threat by one of the road commissions to not participate if they don't get the 4. That would be Grand Traverse County Road Commission, which would raise our costs a little bit more, but give us a little bit bigger voice at the table and allow for some other funding through Beta, and I can't remember the other organization that gets some of that funding, but the road commission would be opted out of that millions of dollars of funding if they opt not to participate because of their 3 votes they feel they should get.
Ready for questions?
I'm always ready for questions. Hopefully you got questions I can answer.
Grand Traverse County's the one that would be doing our roads. So if they opted out of this whole organization, then what good is it to us? Then you have to go hire private contractors to do any road projects?
There would be no road projects being done in Grand Traverse County if they opted out of that. We'll use them as MPO money.
So if they opted out, then we don't want to be in.
There's that would give Beta about $1 million a year additional that they could probably provide some better busing out here for our residents, which is really bad right now.
It's never gonna get better out here.
I'd like to think if they got $1 million and we had a vote, they'd be spending some money out here to get our residents taken care of.
So the only thing then, if Grand Traverse County opts out, and how will you know when they're gonna do it?
At their next board meeting,
Which is like,
I'm not sure. Well, we haven't had a rep here in a while, so I couldn't tell you.
Last month.
so
Months before, months ago.
It's hard to keep track.
they opt out,
Mhm.
and the only thing that we have, anything that we could get out of it is Beta.
This go around.
And then if we dump 3 more people out of that 3 people is about what, 20%. So then our cost would go up another 20% to be in something.
They were the only ones that were looking at not partaking. That was a threat, I think, to get the 4 votes.
The Grand Traverse Road
Mhm.
Commission.
But they held stick firm to that when they left. I want to make sure I'm giving you guys all the information I have on
I
that.
was reading in your thing, they were holding firm to that.
That might have changed with recent events.
But if they were, can you imagine the PR if Grand Traverse County Road Commission says, I don't want millions of dollars in federal road funding because we only got 1 vote compared to the rest of the organization who also got 1.
Right.
I personally think it'd be foolish for us not to do this. Even if they don't get in right now, they can get through the bylaws, they're able to get in later if we vote them in.
Do you know why Long Lake didn't go in?
They're not part of the MPO, they don't have the population necessary to fit part of it.
I like that.
With the roads that are serviced by state highways.
Oh,
Sorry, I forgot that part.
okay.
They're listed.
But that, if you look down at the bottom,
I didn't think they were there.
they're not in there.
I think they opted, I don't think they opted in the beginning process.
Oh, wait a
Yeah,
minute,
they
they're
have.
here.
Ron wasn't going to, or Long Lake Board was not going to participate.
Much TC sale, Dallas members.
Yeah. But after reviewing this and listening to other entities that are involved in this, it's not too often I agree with Mr. American Public, but I do agree with them on this particular matter.
Is that gonna be in the minutes?
And when could we get out of it? If this all falls through, when could we pull back out of this? That's in the bylaws.
It's in the bylaws. I don't, I have to scroll through that to get to that again.
Here's the bylaws. Last time we,
It's in the packet.
The packet.
I'm in the packet right now, scrolling through the bylaws.
had the intergovernmental agreement, nobody. Big difference. Two separate sets of-
I think they're in there.
They'd have to be thicker than this. Print out the whole thing again.
There's article this, article that. or-
But these refer to a separate set of bylaws.
Exactly.
Article 9 refers to a separate set of bylaws, which we actually had last time. That's what I'm saying. Have they changed? That's my question to Andy. Did they change from last month?
They did not, those were adopted last, by the board last, at the previous meeting, to this one, bringing this forward. You're right, they're not in here, Dave. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. Write that one down too.
What,
the-
budget center would we use to pay to be into this? Just the general fund?
It's $3,600.
Memberships and.
Right, but as they keep dumping people, that's gonna go up, and next year it might be $5,600.
This is just to form the organization. Yes. Will there be, at some point you could hire a director and
That's already in place. They have a director that's gonna be correcting. It's the, what's the guy's name?
I think it's
He's the one who sent the emails on.
Karsten.
Yeah,
Networks Northwest is gonna be the unbiased lead and director
they're contracted with
of
the
our, of the
organization.
organization. Rob.
Oh, Rob.
Or didn't you send out a second email with the resolution?
It was the same one, that,
With the bylaws included with that?
no,
Oh,
that was the same thing that Andy submitted here, but a few days later I got it from Rob, so I sent that out so you guys can do a comparison. And it was just two name spellings,
There's a couple of words that were spelled wrong,
so.
that changed the meaning.
Also, I was asking you, is that an ongoing fee every year?
That's the annual,
I mean, it says for 2024, that's the budget they're working.
and that number could change, of course, based upon the funding that we get. So we gotta pay a percentage of federal funding that we're getting. Sorry, I misunderstood your question, Paul.
There's a lot here.
Andy,
Yes,
attachment C, dig that up.
membership dues calculations,
Yeah, 18.5%.
it's 18.5% of what the feds are giving.
So if the feds give $1 million, we have to match 18.5%?
That's where the 50.672898 came from. For the planning grant portion.
Just setting this up, that's not getting money.
How many organizations have?
I have not heard what any of the townships or road commissions have done or Beta.
So this is just going to decide on this month or next month.
They're hoping to have this all completed this month. There's a time, because of the way the census kind of messed up this, remember it took a little longer to get the numbers out. There's it's kind of a rush process.
The feds have put a deadline,
November,
no, sooner than that,
September.
September 1, had to be up and organized. Yes,
So we got a little,
we were to take action
This month
this
is our time.
month. Next month, the organization
We have to get
have
back
to submit
together.
their paperwork to the state to transfer to the feds.
and what's the exit plan here? I'm looking, What if?
Theory, there isn't. We stay in forever.
There you go. I have
Or
one
we
thing
opt out.
I've learned in this life is I want to see a sunset date. Anything.
But if we don't have an MOP, nobody gets money, so. I guess you can have an MOP with just a couple members.
Article 12 states withdraw, we may withdraw at any time, but we will not be prorated any funds for that fiscal year. That's Article 12. And if we don't pay our dues, then we're not a member in good standing, then they'll boot us out.
Let's go back to this 18.5% match. $1 million, 18.5% match is $181,500.
The dues shall be set equal, or the 18.5 match participating money, dues should be calculated for the consolidated planning grant, which is, there's a bunch of different grant monies that come in through this. One of them is a planning grant.
That's not the road funds. It's a different thing. Road funds are separate.
But you have to have the MPO to get those road funds.
They give us $20 million in road funds. We're not paying any of that. It's not 18% of road funds. It's 18% of just this one little planning grant that goes to cover the little organization, not the road work.
And so we don't get a planning grant, then we don't have to pay anything? I guess I'm with,
That would be correct,
I
yeah.
guess I'm with Paul. I don't quite understand the membership requirements in the grant system. I don't
It's
understand.
kind of like the admin cost.
Well, I understand that you gotta pay to have it and that, but what it's based on is what I don't
Well,
understand.
that grant he's talking about is just like an admin planning grant.
So we don't get that, or next year it's 3 times as much, then we pay 3 times as
The
much.
budget is-
You withdraw if you don't want to pay it.
That's what Mark was just saying.
Whatever we pay in order to-
If it says that.
Networks
you don't
Northwest.
wanna be on-
It was just reading something 12 that you.
That's not a huge expense. It's not gonna get crazy.
The general consensus at the meeting was from those who have been driving this, that that's gonna be pretty consistent. Maybe a 2-3% increase like you see with the cost of living type stuff.
Does anybody here not want to have a seat at the table? That's what we're talking. I want a seat at the table to save $3,600.
But if our seat at the table doesn't give us anything, what's the sense of having a seat at the table?
Because you have a say.
Well,
You don't have a
Andy
say, you
just,
can't-
He doesn't get his any.
Andy just says
You
that
got US.
the county might not be there.
Look,
Oh, MDOT is also recipients of some of that money, so
Yes.
31, thanks, Dave. 31 would be an area that we could have some,
MDOT paving.
Oh, do you want to sit in the back seat? You want to sit in the front seat?
Well, we're not sure where we are going to be.
$3,600.
I'll make the motion that we agree to the recommendation and sign the intergovernment agreement with TTIC.
Or
motion by Kramer, supported by Meganowski to enter into and sign the intergovernmental agreement with TTIC. Any discussion?
Yeah, the bylaws start at page 137 of the packet. Needs to see them.
So, any other discussions? Thanks, Matt. With this, I think I'm gonna do a roll. I guess I'm going to do a roll call.
Merrick,
yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Biganowski.
yes.
Kramer, yes. West,
Yes.
Radke.
Front seat, yes.
Front always better be that.
Anyway, so next item on our agenda is the Metro Act agreement with Dykema Gossett PLLC. Wasn't part of the packet. On behalf of Wolverine Power Supply.
So have you got that, Mark? Okay, the Metro Act is supposed to cover telecommunications. Wolverine is a generator and they have distribution system, no, they have transmission systems. They have no distribution systems whatsoever. So why is this under the Metro Act? It should be a straight up franchise, not a Metro.
Should be a franchise on, however, if they are doing video, audio across their lines, they can do both a franchise and a metro.
So they're considered as having a telecommunication system,
Through their grid, yes.
makes no sense what's.
Yeah, they're doing a clean sweep, north of Grand Rapids, through all the communities.
Well, we're talking about fiber optic cable here, again. Wolverine is an electric generation, and transmission company, no distribution at all. Don't get it. So I wonder if you knew it, and there's, I mean, Dykema guys, it's not a slouch, I figured they must know what they're doing, but it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Yep, and that's what they're doing in each community, and each community is throwing their arms up because they don't want them under the metro, they want to go under the franchise. I'm going, I want them to go under the metro, because they pay per foot. You know, and with the franchise, you know, it's a non-exclusive franchise for 30 years or whatever. Typically, I think that was their magic number. We didn't get a whole lot out
They
of it.
went to a vote.
But with the metro, and they're doing a transmission, we get something like 4 cents.
Well, Metro, we don't have a choice, we don't have, we got a gun over our head here,
Yeah.
we can't say no.
You're right.
So
And
this
that's
is
how they're-
perfunctory, understand.
So we'll get our annual $500 plus X amount of cents per foot that's within the township into the metro farms.
Page 130 or 112 of our packet, where it's outlined, the red line that's outlined there, that's the only place they're gonna run that in our township?
Their fiber optic cable. apparently.
Yes, that's when
All the-
they're registering at this point in time.
That's also a transmission.
Go again?
It's a transmission line, current, it has the fiber on it or not.
Well,
That's the
fiber,
main transmission line, is goes to Mark's property.
Yeah,
yeah, that's the only one that they're running, nothing out anywhere else. They're running that, they're running fiber all through the countryside here.
yeah. Michigan Broadband Organization at the state level that is handing out contracts to counties for under the missing middle line, the underserved and unserved.
Right,
So that's another $1 billion that they have to spend on this. So Wolverine and the likes are jumping on board for their fiber optic. So these guys can piggyback off these fiber optic lines and fulfill the
Yeah.
middle missing
So
mile.
Dave, you said we basically have to do this?
Yeah, on the metro.
Yeah.
Or-
Well, the service commission, if we don't, it'll get forced down the road.
And it's something like $8,000 a day
Yeah, this is.
for a delay.
Oh. Need to make a motion to.
Even if we cable it from my phone, we get in trouble.
We extended to 45 days.
Make motion, we approve the, resolution.
Support.
We got a motion by Vaganowski, supported by Merrick, to approve the resolution for the Metro Act agreement. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Biondo,
Yes.
West,
yes,
Kramer, yes, Biganowski.
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
and Radke.
Yes. Resolution considered adopted. The next item concludes our new business. Next item is discussion on that it's pickleball court fencing. As we know, there's a group that's organized, NPO, that's been out doing some fundraising. They did reach their requested limit and then some. And today, I think the asphalt has been put down and it's ready to cure for 30 days before it can be painted. We've been all looking for fencing bids. We were fortunate enough to get 2 bids, of which one withdrew because they couldn't do it until next year. We are looking at a 3rd bid. We have not received the numbers as of tonight's meeting, but it's anticipated to be between 80 $100,000 according to Arnie with his information with Powers Harbor and Sutton Bay, Gene.
So how about we take a motion that you accept the lowest bid that comes in the next 7 days, so we don't have to kick this down the road.
I'll support that motion.
We got a motion by, was that a motion, Dave?
Yes,
Motion by Baganowski, supported by Merrick to authorize the township to accept the lowest bid received within the next 7 days. Any discussion?
Whose money is it?
It's Memorial Park Pickleball Association's money. We are the holder of it, so whatever we agree to, they cut us a check. So, at this point in time, I believe the organization's raised roughly $190,000 when the goal was to raise $160,000. So they will be providing some more amenities for the park as a whole. The Memorial Park Pickleball Association is not all about pickleball. They are for Memorial Park improvements as well. So they are looking at benches and other improvements. So anyways, long story short, any other discussion on the motion? Roll call that, please.
McDonald.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Merrick.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
Baganowski.
Yep.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Good job, Pete. Next item is correspondence in our packet. You had the TTIC meeting info, I
That's for
believe,
your bylaw packet.
and the Consumers Energy report as the result from the Michigan Township Association Conference that was held at the resort this spring. And we also have the annual report, status of the tax increment financing plan that was supplied in our packet as well. Any questions on correspondence? I can direct them to the consumers or to Bill, who is the working knowledge of that. Anything else? That being said, I already duly noted, the asphalt was laid. Perfect fence, or sorry, Apple Fence is the lowest bid in the next 7 days. They'll be able to put the fencing up by July 24th this year. I clarified that was this year. And the concrete,
The next few days.
will be within the next week or so. For the exercise circuit, up front, we gotta let that cure for 30 days as well. And we have Roy and Joe and any other volunteers that would like to
Work
help.
B.
Gotta put it together.
Yep, which saves us 25,000 if we do it ourselves. With that being said, there is nothing else. I don't
Wait,
see Mark return. And Pat, there's something else.
I just noticed, you had sent out a proposed resolution, and I don't know if our vote is gonna cut the mustard as far as if they need this resolution.
I didn't say the number, but I said to pass the resolution
Oh,
that was presented.
What's-
07
It was in the packet.
112023.1.
I'll amend it to include it.
Motion to amend the resolution to include the number of 07-11-2023.1.
second.
There's a motion by Baganowski, supported by McDonald. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
All right.
Those opposed say no. Carried. Next is the second public comment. Same rules apply as the first. I'd ask that you rise with the podium, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Yes, sir.
have a crossing guard just jump in front of cars and tap and beat twice. It's the same kid, long black hair. He doesn't look, he just runs down the street, sign by. Somebody's gonna get a serious act.
Yes, sir. Normally I would not respond to that comment, but our board members also have concerns, as do I. I've sat there and waited for students that were behind the guard shack on the east side, holding traffic, waiting for them to come through. Then he'd have 3 people cross, he'd walk off, another person would come up, he'd go back, they'll stop the traffic within 30 seconds, then wait for traffic. So I've made those written comments in days and times. I am meeting with the president of ICA and also with Mr. Kessel. Tomorrow, I think it is tomorrow afternoon, to address that. Yes, they are authorized to have it. There's nothing we can do to stop it. Valid crossing, however, there's some etiquette they could use and perhaps a little common sense and some safety training. Such an individual as was mentioned by Mr. Caskey.
If that authorization's in writing, can you provide it to me? Because you're probably gonna wanna bring it to your meeting too. I wanna see it.
Yeah.
I wanna see it. My guess is you don't have it.
No, the road commission had it.
I wanna
They
see
give the
I
authority.
wanna see-
I'll make a request to the road commission. They have them give it to you.
Please.
Oh, time's up. Any other public comment? Going once, going twice? Well, it looks like we're gonna go to the next item, which is adjournment at 6:26. I would entertain a motion doing so.
Someone,
Thank you.
Motion by McDonald, supported by Beyond. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Oh, meeting adjourned 6:26.
no.
That was a good time. I like.
We're at 5:30.